Intense baking battles that push each bakery to their limits.
Rafa, pray.
You win some, you lose some.
Let me cut it, please, before John. Please, let me cut it.
Which bakery will be crowned the ultimate accolade? Britain's Best Bakery. Saturday night at 9:30 on ViuTV6. Provocative stories that have changed lives. Insightful interviews with notable figures from the worlds of news, politics, and entertainment. ViuTV6 brings you one of the most esteemed news magazines. ABC News 2020. Sunday night at 9:30 on ViuTV6.
Good evening, I'm Britt Clennett in Hong Kong and welcome to ViuTV News. Coming up on tonight's show. The government pushes ahead with the national anthem law despite fierce opposition among more than just local footy fans. Judge in Donald Tsang's graft trial slams Director of Health for forcing a juror to work. Sales of hairy crab from a Taiwan farm suspended after authorities found excessive amounts of dioxin. First up, the government has begun drafting local legislation to punish people who disrespect the national anthem. That's according to the city's Constitutional and Mainland Affairs Chief Patrick Nip. He expects Beijing to include the legislation in the basic law soon. The plans faced a backlash following calls to punish local football fans for booing the anthem at past matches. Speaking on a radio show, Nip says the local version of the law isn't likely to be applied retroactively because it'll follow Hong Kong's own legal and constitutional traditions. Turning to the latest on Donald Tsang's corruption trial next, the High Court slammed the Director of Health, who was summoned to answer for why the government department was forcing one of the jurors to work on Saturdays. Constance Chan apologised to the judge for the inconveniences caused to the case. She explained that the juror, a nurse, had a contract requirement of working 2 Saturdays per month. And since the court only requires jurors from Monday to Friday, the department decided she should be able to work Saturdays. But Judge Andrew Chan pointed out serving as a juror is a Hong Konger's #1 civic duty, and civil service officials have no right to skirt around the jury ordinance. He said if it was any other employer, it would have been a jailable offence, but said we can't have a court case where it's the Hong Kong SAR against the Hong Kong SAR. Some food safety warnings, and hairy crab fans beware. Local health officials have found excessive amounts of toxic dioxin and other similar substances in crab samples from Taiwan. The Centre for Food Safety did tests before the hairy crab was released into markets for sale, though, and imports from the Taiwan farm have now been suspended. Authorities said these particular samples contained about 50% more of the cancer-causing compound than its standard levels. Officials are especially on alert after last year's major dioxin contamination of hairy crab from the mainland left Hong Kong with a scant few of the popular delicacy. Apart from causing cancer, they say dioxin poses a range of other health risks.
Dioxins is quite ubiquitous in the environment. So very low level of dioxins can affect the human bodies. Ranging from, say, affecting the endocrine system, immune system, and also affecting development.
Another health warning, this time for juice guzzlers. The Consumer Council found excessive amounts of fungal toxins in 2 drinks imported from Australia. These 2 pressure fruit apple-flavoured juices were pulled from shelves after the watchdog detected excessive limits of patchoulin in them. The council says patchoulin can suppress immune responses, damage nerves and affect fetal development. More than a dozen other juices among 40 samples tested were found to contain false information on their food labels. The watchdog says it's forwarded the results to the Centre for Food Safety.
In terms of, healthy substances such as vitamin C, such as fiber, actually fresh fruits, they are substantially higher in terms of content than fruit juices. And in terms of unhealthy substances, such as free sugar, then fruit juices, they are substantially higher.
To the Somalian capital of Mogadishu now, where at least 200 have been confirmed dead following Saturday's deadly bombings. The attacks have also sparked mass protests in the region. Samantha Vadas reports.
Anger on the streets of Mogadishu as the death toll from Saturday's twin bomb blasts in Somalia's capital climbs above 200. Clad in red headbands, more than 2,000 people gathered in the city on Sunday, protesting what have become the deadliest attacks in the country since an Islamic insurgency began 10 years ago. At least 100 others were wounded in the simultaneous explosions that struck busy intersections in the heart of the city.
It was a massacre. I've never seen anything like it in the last 27 years. I saw a little boy's head lying on the ground. It was shocking.
3 days of national mourning has been declared, and there are calls for blood donations and funds for victims. As families took to the streets on Sunday in search of missing loved ones, emergency workers continued to comb through the rubble, pulling dozens of bodies from the debris, many charred beyond recognition. There's still been no claim of responsibility for the attack, but the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab, allied to Al-Qaeda, carries out regular attacks in the country.
After days of uncertainty surrounding whether or not the US will stay in an international nuclear deal with Iran, senior officials of the Trump administration said the US is in for now. The president had warned he might pull out of the deal, and he threatened to tear up the international accord. The 2015 agreement reached by the US, the European Union, Germany, France, Russia, Britain and China put limits on Iran's ability to enrich uranium. The nations agreed to lift international sanctions if Iran complied. Speaking to NBC, Nikki Haley eased concerns the US might walk away.
Well, I think right now you're going to see us stay in the deal because what we hope is that we can improve the situation, and that's the goal. So I think right now we're in the deal to see how we can make it better, and that's the goal. It's not that we're getting out of the deal. We're just trying to make the situation better so that the American people feel safer.
OK, and at least 6 people are dead and several others injured after a multi-storey building collapsed in the South Indian city of Bengaluru. The accident occurred in a densely populated residential area in the southeast of the city. Dozens of rescuers were at the scene trying to retrieve people feared trapped under the debris. Local media earlier reported that an LPG cylinder blast was to blame, but officials ruled that out.
Totally 6 people, they died. According to owners, this is not a too old building, about 15 to 20 years. And I inquired with ground floor and the first floor tenants, those who are in hospital. According to them, not gas, most probably because of building collapse.
Elsewhere, Vietnam's disaster prevention agency says 72 people are dead after floods battered the country's north and central last week. That's as it braces for more extreme weather. State media said last week's floods were the worst in decades. Thousands of homes were left submerged while many others collapsed. Several towns remain cut off by floodwater. Authorities are now scrambling to fix dikes, dams and roads. Typhoon Kanun is expected to bring yet more heavy rain from today. Ships and boats have also been warned not to approach the typhoon. Coming up next, the latest from the world of business. Local markets made a robust start to the week with the HSI nearing a 10-year high again. It rallied close to 28,800 points early on in the day before pulling back slightly to close at 28,692 points, up 0.76. The top mover of the day was Hong Kong Exchange, up more than 4% at one point. Market reports say the exchange is thinking about suggesting the government lower or even scrap the 0.1% stock trading stamp duty. China's economy is showing no signs of slowing down, with producer price inflation unexpectedly hitting a 6-month high. The PPI rose 6.9% last month, driven by the continued construction boom and a government crackdown on air pollution. This has triggered a frenzied jump in commodity prices. staying on the mainland, it's going through somewhat of an economic renaissance. Central Bank Governor Zhou Xiaochuan predicts the economy will grow 7% in the second half of the year. He says rising household consumption is the driving force behind the stronger than expected numbers. This flies in the face of many economists who have been tipping a slowdown as the year goes on. Hong Kong's fifth tallest development could soon become the city's priciest building ever. That's following reports saying Li Ka-shing's Cheung Kong Asset Holdings closed a deal to sell its 75% interest in the centre to a consortium led by a Chinese oil firm for $40.2 billion. The figure is $4.5 billion more than a speculated offer made last year for the 73-storey office tower. Shares of CK Asset Holdings surged as much as 3.2% on the news to its highest since September the 21st. Well, it's no secret Li is diversifying away from property, and some of the profits made from the centre might just go here. Miotech, or Mio Ying Technology, specialises in providing artificial intelligence-based software for asset managers. Li's private investment arm, Horizons Ventures, led the $7 million initial funding round for it. Horizons known to focus on overseas tech firms, so it's a serious boost for local fintech players. Miotech's CEO says the financial sector is due an upgrade, highlighted by wealth managers still using outdated technology to manage portfolios. Well, China's efforts to limit the use of fossil fuels has sent green car technology through the roof. But over in the UK, researchers have come up with other ways to replace diesel reliance through biofuel. And in this case, it's using one type of waste we generate a lot of to get through the day. Here's Jim Jury with details.
Many of us use coffee to fuel our day, but it can also be used to help power our car. Companies are extracting oil from spent coffee grounds, usually thrown into landfill, and making it into biodiesel. It's more environmental than growing soybean or corn to make fuel, but can be a lengthy, multi-stage process. Lancaster University researchers say they've developed a more efficient method.
Our novel process is in situ transesterification, which actually couples two processes, extraction and reaction, into one single step. So in this case, generally in chemical engineering, when we couple two operations in one single step, we usually get a lower processing cost as well as investment costs.
The biodiesel could go straight into our tanks, or more realistically, be blended in small amounts with other fuels.
We are not claiming that we would save the whole planet and that would provide the fuel that would supply everything in this world, for sure not, but it's one of the puzzles that could contribute to the overall